Hello and welcome to yet another interesting segment of the newspaper review here on TAF TV for today, the 8th day of August 2022. My name is Cyril Aloysius and thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so looking at the papers with me for today is Mr. Victor Sioko as usual. You're very much
Boom.
welcome, sir.
Yes, good morning and happy new week.
Happy New Week, sir.
Thank
The
you.
Premier League is back, sir. The
Yes.
Bundesliga, the La Liga, and of course every other league across Europe is currently back, and so many fans, football fans, are really expecting so much from their teams. But I think I'll draw much on the Premier League. A whole lot of big teams actually started with a win, but one of the big teams actually started with a lose during the week, and that's Manchester United.
And another with the draw.
Yes. So, what do you think that particular loss for Man U and of course the draw for Liverpool entails going forward in the league?
For me, Man U is a growing team. They need some time. Their manager just came in, Ten Hag.
Because there are some fans saying that Ronaldo should be let to go if he wants to go.
Yeah, there is so much, but who will replace him? That's another question. Man U needs such a leader. Ronaldo is a leader, no two ways about
But let's
that.
not forget that during the preseason games, before Ronaldo actually came on, Man U was actually doing very well. They actually defeated Liverpool during the preseason game 4-0. They went ahead to win, either Crystal Palace or so, any of those small English teams, I think 1 or 2-0 or so. They were winning until Ronaldo came back in a friendly match and then they lost, I think, or drew 1-1. Yes, drew 1-1. So I don't know. It's almost like Ronaldo is now having the Paul Pogba influence on the team right now.
But mind you, he did well last season. You can't take. Okay, just imagine he wasn't there last
Under
season.
a different coach, actually.
Okay, under a different coach.
Yes.
But I believe he just needs to stay out. But if he goes, it will be too much for Man U to carry, unless they want to break the bank. But at this point, who do they want to even sign at this point? A top-class player they can sign?
Personally, I feel like Man U already has so much cover for Ronaldo. I mean, Man U has like depth in squad. You have Anthony Martial, you have Marcus Rashford, you have Jadon Sancho. Man U have a lot going forward. Ronaldo is, I think, what's his name? The president of Real Madrid is actually saying that the door is open for Ronaldo to come back to Real Madrid, but it's on what's it called? On terms and conditions that he will not start ahead of the young players if he must come back to Real Madrid. Personally, I feel like Ronaldo has to leave Man U, maybe come to Chelsea or so. But let's not dwell much on sports. That's not the reason why we are here. We'll start in today's newspaper review by looking first at the Nation newspaper. And amongst the headlines in the Nation, we have this one says, Wike's camp slams Atiku over divide and rule in PDP. Wike's camp slams Atiku over divide and rule in PDP. Okay? And another headline here in the Nation says, Air Force kills terrorist leader. 24 insurgents neutralized. Okay, that's a very good one coming from the Air Force. And on page 3, we have Oyo won't return schools to owners, says government. Oyo won't return schools to owners, says government. And on page 3 as well, we have gun runners arrested. Gun runners arrested. And on page 8, we have Pantami becomes first African fellow of Chartered Institute of Information Security. Pantami becomes first African fellow of Chartered Institute of Information Security. That's on page 8 of the Nation. And on page 4, we have NCDC. Nigeria recorded 24 cases of monkeypox in 1 week. That's a very sad one. Nigeria recorded 24 cases of monkeypox in 1 week. And on page 31, we have Amosan Brume break Commonwealth records. Amosan Brume break Commonwealth records. That's on page 31. And on page 13 and 2, we have Jai's Bank raked 2.54 billion naira profits in 6 months. And Humana demands end to oil theft in Niger Delta. Okay, that's the much you can take in the Nation. Mr. Victor, before I move straight to the next paper, what do you make of these headlines?
Okay, one striking thing. Please let me start from health, okay, which is not my major topic now. So aside chickenpox, there is measles. And just recently, over 10 persons were killed in Ahoda local government due to measles. So I'm telling our viewers, please, this is a time to bring back the cleanliness culture, okay, because a whole lot of it goes down, okay, with respect to all these illness.
Yes.
You need to be safe. You need to cater for your children properly, because these things, when they hit, especially the kids, it can be so fatal. Okay, so that aside. Secondly, I want to talk about the Atiku and the Wike's case. The Wike's camp are coming out strong and loud this time around. Okay, what has happened over these few weeks? Mind you, Wike came out to say that even the Atiku has not sent his delegates to come and meet him because of the issues that they are having due to the presidential election, from presidential election issue to selecting who becomes the VP. We already know about that. So something happened over the week, over the last 1 week. Okay, it is so clear right now that Atiku, the presidential candidate for the PDP, has shifted Wike aside, and he's now targeting the big stalwarts in Rivers PDP. He's trying to win their hearts and push Wike aside, because it's looking like what Wike is asking of him, he cannot do that. So he's pushing him aside, which now brings back the news why the Polytechnic, the Elechi Amadi Polytechnic, the council body, they were dissolved. Okay? Why did they dissolve that body? Why will Wike's government, the River State government, dissolve the body? Reason, because Atiku's delegates had a meeting with former Senator Lee Meiba. Lee Meiba is was the head of the committee, okay? And he was, in fact, the entire body was dissolved just because, in quote, Atiku reached out to Lee Meiba. So there are also some other persons in the PDP that they want to win. But from the look of things right now, the Wike's camp even came out again to say that Atiku had an agreement, or had a proposal rather, with Wike just after winning the presidential, the party presidential, becoming the party presidential candidate. So there was this agreement, my brother, that, or not an agreement, there was this proposal on his table, as in on Wike's table. Mind you, after the election, Atiku came to Port Harcourt to visit Wike. What is happening? Right now, it is so clear that Atiku did not just want to give Wike the vice presidential seat. Okay, and it is now so glaring that, see, no matter what they discussed in the so-called, in quote, meeting, that also should tell us that, see, Atiku did not just want this person, as in Wike, to be in his government, as in to be his VP, not just in government, to be his VP. So right now, and as you can see, the APC are using this opportunity to get into the River State. And that has also caused some uproar in the PDP, because the PDP are now shouting and screaming on top of their voices that Wike is now involved in double party politics, okay? Meaning that this week, we know that many APC politicians will be coming into town to commission many projects that have been done. In fact, from Monday to Friday of this week, there are chains of projects that will be commissioned. First, today, we are having Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, the governor of Lagos, coming into town. We are even having Mimiko, former governor of Ondo State, coming into town. We're having the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila. So, what happens to the PDP politicians? It's not bringing them to the state this week, and it's also causing tension in the PDP bloc nationwide.
All right, Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your thoughts on those headlines in the nation. Let's quickly look at the Daily Sun now. And amongst the headlines in Daily Sun, we have Buhari's minister under fire over insecurity. ASU strike. Buhari's minister under fire over insecurity. ASU strike. Afenifere Ohaneze, MBF. Others say FG can't borrow to fund ASU position. Senseless. That's on page 6. And on page 2, we have 50 billion naira Nimasa floating dock rots away at naval dockyard. Okay, that's on page 2. And on page 27, we have Pantami emerges first African fellow of Chartered Institute of Security. That's on page 27. And on page 4 and 5, we have military airstrikes kill chief terrorist Abdul Karim Boss. 27 others in Katsina. That's on page 4 and 5. And on page 27, we have Nigerians dying of hunger. Okowa laments. And lastly, on page 26, we have crack in IPOB as group disowns purported Biafra in exile government. Okay, that's the much we can take in Daily Sun. Mr. Victor, what do you have to say concerning the headlines?
So let me do the IPOB very quickly. Okay, there is this proposal from a faction of the IPOB. Okay, in Finland, the man is in Finland. Okay, and he's coming up with the idea of having a government in exile, GIE. So this government in exile will be like the government of IPOB, or Biafra rather, we are sent out of the country, and they are now in another country governing what happens in Nigeria, in quotes. They are still in Nigeria, although they say it's Biafra land. Okay, so what is this? It's also causing some, in quotes, some person might be like, this is confusion. Why will you be saying you have a government outside Nigeria? Okay, it's a whole lot of confusion.
It's confusing.
So, but the main leaders, that's Mazinam Dekado and his spokesperson, Emma Powerful, he came out to say, see, forget about what this guy is saying over there. This is mere, he called it, this is sinister, okay? It is sinister and confusing that we should, the population, or the populace rather, should debunk such a person, that he's not part of the group. Okay, that aside, let's just keep that aside. So let's go for ASU. Mind you, 2nd of August, which we passed, was the second week or 14th day that the president had already given the command, okay, the directive that everything about ASU should be sorted out. Unfortunately, we're even heading to the 3rd week, and the president has said nothing about it, mind you. Okay, I want to also make this clear to our viewers that between the two ministries, you know, we have the Ministry of Labor and Ministry of Education. They are the ones that has the powers to take care of whatever is happening with ASU. Okay, so there was this complaint, strong complaint from the Ministry of Education, headed by Minister Adamu, and that of the Labor, headed by Dr. Chris Ngige. The Ministry of Labor complained that the Ministry of Education is it's not allowing them to work. That what is happening right now, the ASU strike, is labor matters. That the Education Ministry should please kindly step aside and allow the Ministry of Labor to take charge. But from what the statements from the president directed the Ministry of Education to handle this. And what did that make? It made persons like the minister, that's Dr. Chris Ngige, to step aside. So since then, nothing has also come out from the whole thing. The Ministry of Education, which by my own judgment, people will say, who am I to judge? But I want to stand on this ground to say that I am highly disappointed with the Ministry of Education.
We are all disappointed, sir.
Not only on the ground of ASU. I'm disappointed that it is the same leadership of Minister Adamu that Nigeria went from, the children that are not in school went from 10.5 million to 18 million. And that has put Nigeria at #1 in the world, where you have children that are out of school. It is the same minister that will be the longest serving minister if he's able to go 8 years in the Ministry of Education. Mind you, by next year he will be 8 years in that office. And we all know that he has not impacted in any way
So, Mr. Victor, let me ask.
to address issues relating to education.
sorry to cut you, but I want to ask a question. Given the way things are going currently with the educational sector in the country, do you see this whole ASU problems getting solved just before the elections come in?
Well, it can be solved.
Like, do you see it happening?
Yes, it can be solved. When it comes up, when you see the two major things, revitalization.
Because it's now looking it's now looking like students are going to be at home until after the election.
See, the issue, I think the government has the bulk of the issue, okay? But let's also face it. Right now, as it stands, I think ASU should step aside with respect to their payment platform. For me, right now, there are strong indications saying that that's their platform of UTAS, okay, does not meet the necessary requirements. Not just this was not just conducted by the government, even private sector. They brought in private sector to checkmate all this, and it did not meet the requirement. Now, what are even the concerned Nigerians like you and I are saying? The IPs, the government will be able to monitor these lecturers. Why? They will monitor them in what respect, rather? They will monitor them that whenever they go out to do 2 or 3 more jobs, that the government will just be paying them only one salary. And why do I even want that to happen? Because many of these lecturers, they will go out there, they'll get 2 different jobs in the lecturing space.
Yes.
They go to 2 different universities and get jobs, and by so doing, when a lecturer, you are supposed to just stay in one school and concentrate and give your best in one school. You find that they will be divided themselves into 3 places. And what does that mean? That means that, and you know, by what standard?
But there's no way you can be able to give your 100% here and there.
How can one lecturer be supervising 1,000 students? How will it function? How will those 1,000 be able to get value for their money, or or get the right education that they need? So I think with that IPs, it will structure these lecturers going perambulating around the universities.
All right, Mr. Victor, thank you so much. And just before we move straight to our last paper, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue from where we stopped. Please stay tuned.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Going to be the Vanguard, and amongst the headlines in the Vanguard, we have Act Fast to Save Economy. NECA, NESG task federal government. Act Fast to Save Economy. NECA, NECA, and NESG task federal government. That's on page 5. And next on page 40, we have insecurity. Investors avoiding Niger State. Government cries out. Investors avoiding Niger State. Government cries out on page 40. And on page 6, we have NAF kills 9 terrorists, including mastermind of Buhari's convoy attack in Katsina. That's on page 6. And on page 6 as well, we have gunmen kill 2 vigilantes, abduct new couple, several others in Katsina. Okay, a lot of crime happening down there in Katsina. And on page 8, we have Pantami emerges first African fellow of CLL SEC on page 8. Okay, and on page 7, we have strike. We will beg ASU if parents tell federal government on page 7. And lastly, we have on page 14, how my training, experience, knowledge can rescue Nigeria. This, according to Bola Tinubu, says how my training, experience, knowledge can rescue Nigeria, says by Bola Tinubu on page 14 of the Vanguard. Okay, before we call it a day, Mr. Victor, what do you have to say?
Okay, I think I'll talk about the NECA. NECA, that's the National Employees Consultative Association. Okay, they are crying, oh, not crying, or um, they are worried with the economic situation of the country. Okay, and they've come out to profile their own solution. What's their solution? Just to make it so quick, what's their solution? The what do you call it? The oil subsidy regime should end right now. Why should it end? Because 5 trillion naira is being spent this 2022, will be spent 2022 just for oil subsidy. And they are saying with that 5 trillion, we can take care of our education and agriculture that is suffering. And I go by saying that is a good point. As it stands, Nigeria can no longer take care of this oil subsidy. 5 trillion naira, 6 trillion naira, it is a whole lot of money compared to our budget of 17 trillion naira. So if we can inject that fund into the economy, I know that the prices of petrol and other commodities will skyrocket. My brother, let's take a look at just 1 year ago. If you could have imagined that what is happening in this country will happen in the next 1 year, my brother, you'll be scared. But look at what is happening. We are living with the times. We are living with the high cost of things. So for now, I think we should just use this opportunity and say, okay, it has happened. Let us just take that aside and focus on the way forward. The price of diesel is so high. The price of bread is so high. Virtually every commodity in this country has gone so high, but people don't die. People never still die. Are you getting that? So what does that mean? We also know that this oil subsidy has really is a big disadvantage to our economy. So let us channel that money back to the system. Channel it back to education. If we improve education, our economy will be better. If we improve on agriculture, look at the other day, over the weekend, I traveled. And my brother, I almost wept for this country because we have vast land mass, green environment everywhere. But what do we have there? Bushes. Nothing is happening.
Okay, Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time with us on the show today. We really appreciate, and we also appreciate you who have been watching us and staying faithful to your screen to this time. Thank you so much. Without you, we would not be here. But unfortunately, this is where we have to draw the curtain on the program for today. My name is Cyril Aloysius once again. And please do not forget to like, share, and comment. And of course, follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, you can check us out on TAF TV. On Instagram, we're at TAF TV_NG. And on Twitter, we're at TAF TV. And on Facebook, we're at TAF TV. So thank you so much. And don't forget to visit www.tafmedia.com to get informed and updated from all angles of life. Thank you so much.